I think we're working. Slight SD card technical difficulties. We're back in the garage. It's finally time to do this. We're gonna put the engine in the car. It's not gonna be running in this video just because I'm missing a couple parts. Hopefully I should have that happen within like another week or so. We're gonna get the transmission onto the engine, and then we're gonna pick the engine up and bring the car in here.
Shame like the voiding work.
Never heard that one. It's a new one for me.
Yeah, it's in the old English text.
Old English?
Yeah, people back in the Pilgrim days were starving.
Should have lifted your back in a twisting, jerking motion.
Make sure you jerk off your back.
I'm a little suspect of these dowel pins, not gonna lie, so this may...
This one, okay. This one's the same color.
Can you grab the rubber mallet? Give her a couple spankings on its butt.
On this one?
Yeah.
You're doing a whole lot of...
Oh, it's moving.
Make sure you hit your thumb.
Cracks the case.
Oh, God.
Okay, can you grab, so do you see those bolts that are all sitting in a pile right there? Cotton balls? Just doing a whole lot of securing.
Yeah, it smells like
Sweaty job securing things.
Smells like hobo soup.
Hobo soup, huh? Smells like hobo soup.
Just a bunch of liquids and funk. A bunch of funky liquids.
Wow, great.
Wow, great. When I grow up, I'm gonna join the army and destroy India. Terrorist.
Okay. You're full of tunes today.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like a llama.
Feeling like a happy llama.
Alright, so we just got the car pushed in. It's leaking a bunch of power steering fluid right now, but we're gonna get all the stuff that is kind of in the way of putting the motor in out of the way, and then we're going to drop the motor in. Probably shouldn't take too long, because it's pretty easy stuff, but yeah, we just gotta make sure we're prepped, and we'll get this thing going. So we got the engine bay all set up. We're ready to drop this thing in. Got the motor on a crane here with a nice sweatshirt covering over the valve cover. Don't want to scratch anything.
Yeah.
We're gonna put this thing in the car. Yeah, crane, put engine in car. Let's do it.
Big word. You know.
Cool. Okay, let's take the crane off this thing.
Wow.
All right, so we plonked.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
So we put the motor in the car. Took like no time at all, but we didn't put the wiring harness on the engine before we put it in the car. I guess it's not a huge deal. I just now have to crawl around on the ground to put the wiring harness on. So we're just gonna get after it, putting some little stuff together, like put the slave cylinder on, do all that stuff. I'm gonna take the wiring harness that I have out from under my workbench and look through it and see which one I want to use. Right now it's just like plugging little stuff together. Been a couple days. Here another progress update on the Civic project. I got the motor in, as you saw in the last couple clips. Got the new valve cover on, straight from Japan. Starting to get the wiring on, cooling system and all that. Making some decent progress. Been a little bit and waiting for some parts. I'm just gonna keep plugging away. Probably not gonna film a ton, but definitely gonna film the first startup. But we're definitely getting close, boys. Just gotta get the cooling system put together, header on, finish up the exhaust, and put the rear mount in once I finish the wiring in the back of the engine under the manifold. Got a couple parts coming in, oil pressure sensor, oil temperature sensor, so I'm waiting on those. But we're getting there. We should be started up in maybe a week or two. Hey guys, how's it going? Just checking in on the Civic engine swap. It's been quite a bit since I filmed last. I'm going to show you where we're at, and we're getting there. We're really close to getting this thing started up. I probably could start it the way it is right now, but I'm waiting on a couple more parts. Don't have to take stuff back apart that I put on the car very recently. So let's check it out. Got this thing in the car, everything's hooked up. The only thing that we're waiting on is a couple bolts that secure the stiffener underneath the engine to the transmission, which I'd have to remove the exhaust again if I were to just start it up now. So I'm gonna wait on that. I had a pretty expensive exhaust gasket. My headers aren't the straightest thing in the world, so I got a Remflex gasket for that. New power steering hose, got that all buttoned up. But today I'm gonna get the front knuckles on the car, put the rotors back on, get that all ready to go. I still do need to purchase some front brake lines as well as pads, just because both of those are pretty worn out. So cheap insurance, but let's get this thing put together after I get the garage cleaned up a little bit. So here is one of my steering knuckles. I got it all rebuilt, had a wheel bearing failure. Again, this is like the 5th set of wheel bearings I've put on these hubs or something like that. This thing just loves to kill front end parts, but put some extended buddy club ball joints in, swap the ARPs over, new hubs since the last set got pretty warped, and we're good to go. I'm gonna get these guys in the car, torqued down, paint penned everything. Next step, probably just gonna be putting in the axles and getting everything set up that way. So I just got the passenger side knuckle all bolted in, torqued down. Since I have polyurethane and spherical bushings in it, I can torque it not at ride height. I paint penned everything and I labeled what the torque values were on each piece. We'll see if it stays on the car or not. Just giving it a shot, see what happens. But got extended ball joints installed down here with some heat sleeve over them. And we'll see how that affects the roll stiffness and cornering on this thing. Gonna find the rotors, get those slapped on, and find the brake calipers. I rebuilt the calipers, so hopefully they won't stick at all this next season. Had a little bit of an issue with it last season, nothing crazy though. So I just got the calipers on, freshly rebuilt, with same old Wrench Mob Motorsports rotors, and torque the calipers to 75 foot-pounds. Should be all set. We're gonna go over to the other side, we're gonna repeat the process. Same deal. Here's the other side all assembled. Gonna have to wait till this car is on the ground to torque the axle nuts, and I need to go get some brake pads and some brake lines. Probably gonna go in and order that here pretty soon, but I think I'm gonna drop the radiator in this car. Might have to take it back out for the exhaust stuff, but we will see. I'm gonna get that done real quick, off camera. It's pretty simple, so let's get after it. So I just dropped the radiator in. Found out I can take the header out still with the radiator in the car, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna leave it down here on the ground till my bolts show up for the transmission stiffening plate. But yeah, now I'm going to hop in the car and test and see if my oil pressure gauge works. Just key the car on. I'm not ready to start yet, so I'm gonna do that and I'll let you know how it goes. All right, so I purchased a Innovate dual oil pressure and temperature gauge, and let's see if it works. Look at that. We're all set. We're working. Sick. So, Bluetooth's working, everything like that. Thing's probably gonna start playing a video, but
you know, these bearings have already been in the car.
Got no O2 sensor hooked up, but let's see if this thing cranks. Get some oil cycled through it, see if anything came out. Just gonna check the oil on it, and then I might try and pop it off with no header on it, just real quick, see if it'll start. All right, I just swapped all the guts out of the OBD1 LS distributor into this thing, because I think the distributor's bad that I got with the head. So here goes nothing, let's see what happens. Well, it works. Shit. Guess I'm putting the exhaust on. I'm gonna get this thing warmed up. All right, I got the transmission filled, coolant filled. Don't quite have enough power steering fluid, but we'll be all right. I'm gonna give this thing a start up and I'm gonna seat the rings on it. I'm just gonna hold it at like 2,500 RPM for like 15 minutes, keeping an eye on the oil pressure, make sure everything's all good. Well, she runs. Doesn't run great, but it runs, makes good oil pressure. AFRs are all over the place, but I'd say that's a success. Heat cycled the thing at like 2,500, 3,000 RPM, seat the rings. Next step is gonna be drain the oil out of it, cut the filter open, inspect it, and then put some pretty thick conventional oil in it and drive it for like 500 miles, change the oil again, and then I'm gonna tune it. Base map's pretty weird, so I need to get a little bit of a better tune on the car just to go drive it around, but I'm gonna put this thing on the dyno, see what it makes. This has been incredibly stressful, not gonna lie. It's been like a year plus in the making, so really appreciate you guys sticking with me and following the build. I think that's gonna be it for tonight. I got lots more stuff to do. This is not the end of this video or this series or whatever, however I decide to split it up, but definitely super hyped. This is a successful swap. This is like the third engine I've ever built, and it seems to be pretty decent. Time will tell, so gonna test it out this next year and hopefully everything's good. If not, the old engine still runs, so I got a backup, but really excited about this. No, I'm not really showing it, but pretty nervous right now, so hopefully everything goes well and we'll be able to drive this thing here soon. All right, boys, it's been a fucking minute since I filmed, but we got the car all done. Just bled the brakes, put it on the ground for the last time. I still have to swap a distributor into it because my distributor that I Frankensteined wasn't working so well, but I didn't film a ton of this whole process. I just wanted to get this shit done, but here it is. About to pull this thing out of the garage and take it up and down the street real quick and then park it outside the garage so I can clean this mess up. But I think we're good. I'll just keep an eye on the oil pressure when I'm driving it, and I think everything should be fine. So let's get this thing out of here.
Kind of crapped its pants. Take a look.
Aaron, you're scaring the neighbors. She has a baby. She's like, no, stay away from my child. Little curb kiss.
It doesn't run very good.
Yeah, what's the hats, man?
The distributor.
How's the AF?
It sounds kind of rattly. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
It needs the valves adjust. But, I don't know. It drives. I drove it. That's cool.
Good car.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. There it is. My Civic's up and running with an LS VTEC swap in it after about a year of prep. I wish I'd filmed a little bit more during this process, but I really wanted to get it done. It's still not 100% done. Got to go take it, get it dynoed, but I need to get a good street tune on it before I go take it up to get it dynoed. Need to put some miles on the motor, break the clutch in, make sure there's no major issues with the car. Like right now, I'm about to fix a pretty severe oil leak from the VTEC solenoid, but just gonna swap the gasket on that one, see if that fixes it. But appreciate you guys watching and sticking with me through the process. There's gonna be more videos coming soon, so stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys next time.